everybody. Welcome to the Abundance Party. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes here, let everyone kind of hop on. I think I'm a couple minutes early because I said we would start at 11. So come on in and grab yourself a cup of tea or a coffee so that we can spend some time together here, and trying to make sure I have a time put up here. So welcome in. Yes, so glad you're here. So I'm going to invite you to get a pen and paper because I'm going to give you lots of great tips for abundance and things you can do to help get yourself back into that abundant flow. And also to write down your biggest fear. Write down your biggest fear of this season. What's hanging about you in that lack mentality? Where is your fear? So I want you to write it down. Write it down on your paper, but also if you're brave enough, write it down in here so that we can see it and I can talk directly to it. But what's your fear? What is it? That's your biggest fear. Is it not having enough money? Is it not having enough time? Is it, not having enough love around you? Just take a minute to write that down while I get started here and everybody starts to come on. So for those of you that are new, because we have lots of new people in our group, we're hitting almost 400 here in our group, and I'm so excited to see it expanding and growing. So welcome everybody. And my name is Janice Gallant, and I am an artist, and I am a teacher, and I'm a spiritual mindset coach. Now, what that means is that I guide you to your own spiritual relationship of your own understanding. And then I help you stand in that power day to day, in that flow, because that's where manifesting really happens. That's in that creative flow. So you can see I have some of my paintings behind me here. I have, so I do landscape painting, animals, and also these bright colorful ones, the Buddha, the mandala. There's an arrow behind me that's coming in the new year. And I'm calling all angels behind me here. Those are all workshops that I do, and I walk people through meditative art journeys, and we paint these images together, and it is an amazing, beautiful experience. In fact, tomorrow we have our Calling All Angels, where we're painting one of these wings, your choice, one of those wings, and I actually have space because I just got an email this morning from somebody who is really sick with a cold again, and it's going around. It's flu season, and they can't make it. So they're opening their spot to someone else. If anybody else wants to join me, let me know for that one. But where are we here? Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. I just want to I'm leaning over to my laptop so I can make sure that if any comments come through that I get to see them and can respond to them. So this is our abundance party, and my intention with this party is to help you feel more abundant, more in the creative flow, more in your power by the end of this call. And even for those that are watching after, because I know there's a few people that said I can't make it and they want to watch it, the replay. Absolutely, you're going to pick up that energy too. So that is our intention with this. So let's just take a deep breath in. If you're here, take a deep breath in and just relax. Blow it out. And take a minute to settle in for a little bit here. And we're going to talk together and we're going to raise the vibration. And this is very similar to what I do when I do one-on-one coaching. We connect. We are raising our vibration together. I do a lot of intuitive coaching, so it's very much what comes up for you and what's coming up for you in the week that we're chatting is what we will talk about. This call is very much like a coaching session, except I'm not the one doing all the talking when we're coaching. You are talking and expressing, and I am holding space for you so that you can bring in the inspiration and the solutions and the awarenesses and the shifts that you need to keep growing and keep opening up and clearing your path so that you can keep moving forward and not get stuck in old patterns and that sort of thing. So this is very much what we do. And so just taking a deep breath, and I always, in my coaching sessions, I bring through messages to, I give you writings of what comes through to me for you, give you card readings, things like that, so that we keep connecting to your guides and angels and helping you move forward more quickly so that things unfold more beautifully, more easily, more effortlessly for you. So breathing in, taking this moment to just know that you're sitting here, get your cup of tea or your cup of coffee, and just stay with me here. So, feel that alignment, right? So I'm going to tell you a story here in a minute. But again, if you're just hopping on, I want you to write down your biggest fear that's keeping you feeling lack in the holiday season. And if you feel like you want to share it here, please go ahead and write it in the comments. And I will respond to that specifically. But first of all, 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, I published my book, The Creation Guild. It was published in 2017, early 2017 in February or March. I think February it came out, right? So it's a handbook that intentionally helps you connect to your creative flow. It's a handbook about purposefully creating the life of your dreams. So it has all the steps that you need to help you align with your higher power and begin co-creating with that power in your life. And it is a handbook. And I think it's still the best one out there. I might be a little biased, but I think it's the best one out there for learning how to work that power of attraction in your life, right? But there was one problem. There's one problem with my book. So even though I knew all the steps and I was trying to stay in alignment every day and I was meditating and I've been doing this law of attraction thing for over 25 years now, really working on honing it in, there was still a problem. And what happened was I found that my manifesting was still intermittent, right? I was still hitting this ceiling in my manifesting month after month. I would just hit the ceiling. I could get so far up and then it would come back down and then up and down. Now we all know that being in the creative flow is just that. It's a flow. You're in, you're out. That's normal. But I just couldn't seem to break past this kind of average spot. And what I'm really want to reach out further to more people and expand to more people and help more people. But I kept hitting this ceiling, right? So some things I could manifest really easily and other things, I couldn't. And I would find myself falling back into that lack mentality continually. So my life was like kind of this boom and bust, this constant boom and bust. Can you relate to that? I'm sure I'm not alone there, right? You get great leaps forward and then all of a sudden you're back back to where you don't want to be anymore, right? So when Christmas would come and the usual stresses around Christmas would come, so I'd be like waiting for that next paycheck in order to get all the shopping done. And then that paycheck would come in and it was the usual race to the end to finish, right? And so that life was kind of like that. I was always waiting for that flow to come in and then rushing to get it done. And it was stressful and it was not fun. And I was really, really getting fed up with it, right? So I got to a point that I was just so completely done with it. I was frustrated. And that point of desperation is actually the moment that inspiration will come through. That's when your creativity really steps up to the plate. When you get to the point where you're like, I am so fed up. I am so done with this. I want solutions, right? So it had to, I was just like, if I'm going to be teaching this stuff, like here I am, I've written a flipping book about it. If I'm going to be teaching this stuff, I need to figure it out. I need to get this flow moving in a bigger way. And I was like, come on, universe, let's go, right? So what happened next was I got tired of waiting and I decided I'm going to level up. So I made the decision to level up. I got so damn determined that this was now going to be a do or die thing in my mind, right? So my intention to clear whatever was keeping me stuck in that middle of the road or stuck in that lower vibration of lack mentality. My intention was to get rid of that, to clear it out, right? Instead of waiting for the universe, I made my move. So first thing I did was I got a new coach, right? I decided that, okay, I need some help with this. I'm gonna commit to a coach, and it was a higher level coach, and so that was a big step for me. And then also, and this all kind of happened last year, and some of you might know this, but then I committed to Gabby Bernstein's Spirit Junkie Level 2 training. And that's a very intimate training that she offers. There was actually only 75 of us there. But when I made that decision that yes, I'm going to do this, that was really important. So two things. I leveled up with the coach and I leveled up by saying I'm going to take this training, which was, for somebody sitting in the lack mentality, that was a huge leap off the cliff, right? And you know that when standing on the edge of the cliff gets more painful than actually taking the leap, that's the time that you have to go. And I was there. I was so ready to make that change. So I took the leap. And I just thought, universe, like, you better darn well catch me, right? And the universe did, right? Because what I did was I took the first 3 important steps for manifesting. So there's 3 key things, right? I got really ready to align. I was so ready to take that next step. And so I got really ready to align and commit. That was the first one. Then I got super, super clear on what I wanted. And so I said, I need to figure out what's blocking me. What is stopping me from going bigger? So that was the second thing. And then I declared it to the universe. I basically said, I'm doing this. With or without you, universe, I'm doing this, right? So the universe, you better catch up to me. So that was important. Those 3 steps were super important, right? You see, lack mentality is a mindset, right? And a mindset can be changed. Did you know that there is really only 20% of the population out there that will work on their mindset? Only 20% of the population will consistently work on their self-concept. So your self-concept is what you think about yourself. Most of us will live day to day through our self-esteem. So our self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves. And And there's nothing wrong with that, because where our feelings are is where our vibration is. And law of attraction will resonate to your feelings, your vibration of your feelings. But the problem is when you don't work on the self-concept portion of it, you begin to let your feelings run the show, right? So when you do that, then by the end of the day, it's the same old thought patterns that keep happening. But when you make the commitment to change your mindset, to really work on that, you take control. The mind is much more powerful. And so the mind can help you shift and pivot from negative thought patterns into higher vibration patterns. But it takes practice, right? Because the ego loves to keep us in fear. So the ego wants us to feel like following the ego will keep you safe, right? The fear of not enough and of not being worthy of enough are our biggest blocks. And the ego will keep us in this spiral as long as we let it. And that's really important to be aware of, right? So here's some tips that I'm going to give you. This is jumping really fast into, because sometimes you can get into that fear, the deep fear, like the really deep fear where it actually feels like you've just been kicked in the stomach, right? How many of you have felt that? Like, give me a thumbs up or a heart. I have been there many times where something will happen and you can physically feel it. It feels like somebody kicked you in the stomach, and your mind gets just spiraling into those fears, and you go down that path really quickly. And so coming out of that is really hard. Now, I do tell everyone to meditate. Of course, meditating is so important. But when you're stuck in that deep fear, it's really hard to meditate. It's really hard to settle the mind down. So there's a few things you can do that will help you. The first one is 1 minute breath. Okay, and they call it 1 minute breath. But here, you take in a breath through your nose through the count of 5. Hold it for 5. And then release for 5 out of your mouth. And do that again. That's Jack. He's saying hello. So you keep doing that repetitive. It's like waves, right? Just breathing in for 5, hold for 5, breathe out for 5. Now the idea is that you extend that to breathing in for 6, hold for 6, breathing out for 6. But it's really not that important that you get to that. It's more that slowing down of the breath really helps bring you back to center. Okay, so that coming back to center. So that's really important to do. Yoga of any kind is really good for moving energy, but more specifically, I am loving Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga has some beautiful kriyas which help shift blocks and energy in your body. So I am not a Kundalini Yoga teacher. I do hope to be one day, but I do use it daily. And so there's many different what they call kriyas that will help you deal with anxiety or just blocks of any kind, feeling unloved, feeling not worthy enough. But one of the really great ones that I love to use is Ego Eradicator. So it really helps me get out of my ego and back into my heart space. So I'm going to show it to you, and then you can kind of do it on your own. And you can Google it. It will come up. There's so many videos on Kundalini Yoga too. But you're sitting and you put your thumbs or your fingers on the pads of your hand and your thumb up on both hands. Okay. And then you want to extend your arms out. You can't see. So extend your arms out to 60 degrees. Thumbs are up, right? So thumbs are straight up. And you're going to close your eyes and you're going to focus on your third eye point in your mind, and then you're going to do breath of fire. So if you don't know breath of fire, I'll just show you. If you put your hand on your belly, when you breathe, it's in and out your nose. So you breathe in your nose and your belly extends out, and you breathe out your nose and your belly is like a billow that pushes the air back out. So it's like, now you want your in and out breath to be even, right? Because you're in and that takes some practice. And if you need to take a breath in between at some point, don't worry, it's okay. So you stay in that ego eradicator position with your arms up and you're breathing in and out with breath of fire, eyes are closed, focus on the third eye. And you want to do that for at least 3 minutes. Try and hit 3 minutes. So what I always say is put on some music, put on a song that is 3.5 minutes long, and try to do it to the full 3 minutes. I mean, the ultimate is to get to 11 minutes, but I can't do that. That's too hard on my arms and my shoulders. So when you get to the end of it, then you bring your thumbs together at the top of your head. Got to find them. Bring your thumbs together. Breathe in. Release your fingers and then let your arms come down and just sit for a minute and notice the difference in your body. So that's a really good one to really help release the fears, because ego is fear-based. So that will help shift you out of that. Okay. Moving is really important. So putting on some really great music. If you're feeling anxiety or stress, put some good music on and start moving. Start moving in your kitchen, in your house. Just dance around, blast the music, some really great music, maybe some old classic rock music that you used to dance to. Put that on and move your body, because our energy gets stuck in our lower chakras. So in the root chakra, your belly, and your solar plexus, which is why when something fearful happens, you feel it in your solar plexus. You feel it like somebody kicked you in the stomach. That is the energy there. And it will, all of our trauma from past years, and when I say trauma, I don't mean it has to be anything big, huge. It could be that, you and your best friend had a horrible fight when you were little, and that always stayed with you. I know I had an experience in grade 4 where all my friends were really mean to me for about a week, and they'd run away from me on the playground. Well, that stuck with me, that rejection, right? So all of that is held in our lower chakras, and it congests. And when we're in that fear state, we pull in, we contract, and we hold it really tight. So get up and move. Even if you have to go for a walk outside, doing the yoga, running on the treadmill, riding the bike, whatever you need to do to move your body, to move that energy and get it flowing. And that really helps. It's like it helps your blood flow. It helps your energy flow. So get moving. Don't just sit in the ball thinking about what you're worried about. Get up and do that. So, and the other thing I want to share with you is Gabby's Choose Again method. So that's something that she really reinforced for us when we were at her training in November here. And if you have not read Super Attractor, ask for this for Christmas. This is awesome book, an awesome book. So next to mine, of course. No, just kidding. Super Attractor is really great, and she gives lots of different methods in there to become a super manifester, a super attractor. So one of the things that she stresses is something that I actually did talk about in my book, and it's the Choose Again method. I didn't call it the Choose Again method. That's Gabby's, all hers. So the first thing is to notice the thought. Notice the fear thought going through your mind. Notice when you are sinking into that fearful state, and then catch it, right? So catch it. Go, oh, okay, I am slipping into fear. What am I afraid of? What is it that I'm afraid of, right? So notice the thought. And then you want to forgive the thought. And so this is because you go, okay, I'm slipping back into that fear state. What is it that I'm afraid of? I'm afraid I'm going to run out of time, right? I'm afraid the load is going to be too much for me to handle, right? And then recognize it, forgive it, And you could even like, thank you for showing me what I do want, because there's always two sides to that coin, right? So what you don't want is to feel overwhelmed, to feel lack, to feel like you're stressed and running out of time. What you do want is to feel joy and abundance and ease and flow. So you can just right away you can go, oh yes, that's where I'm sitting, but this is what I really want, and get clear on that. So that gives you your clarity. And then she says, choose again. So it's notice the thought, forgive the thought, and then choose again. So that's your responsibility then to say, okay, what can I do? What's one thing I can do to help me feel a little bit better? Right? What's one thing I can do to help me feel a little bit better? Because it's all about moving you from fear up the scale to more joy. And that's Abraham Hicks, right? That's emotional scale, value scale. So those are a couple things that you can do. You can also, what I find really important, especially in this season, when things get really busy and I'm feeling very worried about finances, is I will write down what it is that I need. How much money do I need exactly? So many times I find myself sitting in this foggy zone, and as soon as I sit down and go, okay, let me just figure this out, exactly how much I need. It always seems to give me a sense of relief once I figure it out and write it down. And amazingly enough, I did this before going to my retreat training with Gabby. There was quite a few times that I just wrote down what I needed. I'm like, universe, if I'm going to this training, then I need some money to help get me there. I need this amount of money. And every time I did that, it would come through because I got really clear about what I needed, right? So that helps, is just to write it down clearly. What do you need? And also, the T chart. I talk about the T chart in my book is about what can you take care of, and what are you going to let the universe take care of on the other side. So if you've seen that in my book, then you know what that's about. It's about, just getting really clear about what you have control over and what you don't have control over, that you're going to let the universe handle. But you've gotten clear that you need the universe to handle these things. And inevitably, things start to unfold with more ease for you. So what are the fears that you're holding? Your job is to stop the ego in its tracks and redirect your thoughts. Low vibe thoughts are very addictive, right? And you need to interrupt the pattern of those thoughts as soon as you recognize that you're having them. So let's talk about it. What are some of the fears that you are having? Get to the root of it. So what are some fears? If anyone would be brave enough to put their fears in here, type them in. Let me know, what are your fears? Fears of lack through this season. Fears of not being able to get it all done, right? Fears of absolutely not having enough money to do it all. Fears of disappointing people. Fears of having to do more than you can handle. Fear of debt, right? Because we don't want that. And so identify those fears, right? That's step number one. We want to hide from those fears a lot of times and pretend they're not there, but we need to call them out, right? So hang on with me, because I've got something really big to share. And at the end of this, I actually have a special gift for you, and I want you to get it. So hang out with me till the end. Thank you. Overwhelm. Feelings of being overwhelmed. Yes. And where does that overwhelm come from, right? That I've got to be here and there. I'm expected to do this. I have to take these cookies to this, or this baking to this event, and I don't have time to make it. And so the fear of overwhelm often is rooted in the fear of disappointing people, right? The fear of not being enough for them, right? Yeah. And so that one is a biggie, because then it comes back to, I'm not good enough to do all this, right? So once we shine the light on the fear, once we identify it and call it out, it actually helps take the power away from the ego, because now we know what we're dealing with. You're shining a light on it, and all of a sudden it's not as big as you thought it was, right? So I have spent many years in fear, blocking out the universe. We have to be in alignment in order to receive anything from the universe, in order to receive creative solutions, inspiration, guidance, and the gifts that come to us through receiving from the universe. When we're standing in our flow, we are open to receiving and allowing. But when we're standing in fears of lack, then we are blocking. And like I said, I've spent many years blocking the flow of the universe. But there's some big understandings I want to share with you that I have learned through all my intense study through this self-awareness and growth and looking at law of attraction. But the biggest understandings that I have come from after honing my skills as a manifester have been three big things. One is that all is well. It's all going to be okay. And when you talk about, the fear of disappointing someone, being overwhelmed with everything means that maybe you won't be able to meet all of the expectations that are put on you. Sometimes we have to get comfortable with just that, being able to say, no, I'm not going to do it all. And I know that in the past that has been a big fear for me, especially where my kids were concerned. The fear of disappointing them, the fear of not being able to meet their needs. One thing I have learned is that it's all okay. It all works out, and it all, even in my darkest moments, thinking that I had to do something to change things, it ended up being okay. I didn't meet the needs I thought needed to be met, and everything was fine. So getting comfortable with saying I have limits and I have boundaries and I'm not going past that is okay, right? The other one is it's that there is enough to go around, right? There is no shortage out there. There is no shortage. That is a conditioning that we have learned. Grace is always running and flowing through you. And that grace is abundant. It's abundant with love. It's abundant with all your needs. And it is always there. There is no shortage of money in the world. When you look out at the world, there is like billions and billions and billions of dollars flowing around this world. Your job is to figure out how to get it to flow to you. What are the ways you can get it to flow to you? Because there's lots of it out there. There's more than enough for everyone. And there's a few people that have figured out how to have money flowing to them constantly. I often like to think of it as like being a traffic cop in the middle of a street, right? And this money is just flowing in and out, and I'm directing it, and I'm letting it flow in, and I'm letting it flow out to serve the world, and I'm letting it flow in. So think of it that way. It is constantly flowing, and you can absolutely receive that into your life. So, and then the other one, I'm only got to check my notes here, I'm getting off track, is that you are worthy. You are worthy. You are enough. There is no one and nothing punishing you for anything that you have ever done. And that's a big one, because we often feel like the universe is working against us. It's like, come on, universe, why does this keep happening to me? Why do you keep doing this? And you have to remember that you are the driver. The universe is standing there with arms full of gifts for you, and you are the driver and the conductor of your energy. So it's about you getting open to receive from the universe. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, right? You are worthy. So this brings me back to the one little thing that I talked about was missing from all of my work as a manifestor. The one thing that I had not done yet, right? That was holding me back from receiving and rising up from average to soaring. One thing, and that was forgiveness. That was the missing ingredient. Like I said, when we're standing in free-flowing love, we are allowing and we are receiving, right? We hold ourselves back. We punish ourselves for whatever reasons we think need to be punished. So after I did those first three things that I talked about, I clarified what I wanted, I committed to it completely, and then I declared it to the universe. The universe brought to my attention that missing ingredient because I was ready, right? So one of the things that happened through the past 6 months was before we went to Gabby's training, we had to do some homework. And one of the things we had to do was we had to complete her 40-day miracles, May Cause Miracles books, her 40 days to miracles. So we had to complete the course with the book, right? And so I committed to doing that because I was very serious about my training with Gabby. So I was like, okay, I've read this book before, but it didn't really resonate with me. But now I was ready for it. And day five of her 40-day course, I was brought to my knees, right? So because I said to the universe, I'm ready, and I declared it, that I wanted to clear things out, it happened. Day 5, I started writing in my journal, and what came out surprised me. So I was already, with the help of my coach and this course through Gabby, I was already recognizing that I had forgiveness to do around a business that I failed, that didn't work out 25 years ago, right? I had seen the blessings that came out of the fact that that business didn't work out. Why it didn't work out was a good thing. Moving past it was a good thing, but I was still holding blame against myself for the difficulties that it brought to myself and my family. So I was working through that, and I was starting to see that that event was actually a blessing in many more ways, many new layers that I hadn't ever seen before. So I would write, in my journal, I forgive myself for blaming myself for this failed business. And what came to me was that instead of seeing it as something that I did wrong, I started to see it as an event that catapulted us forward in our lives. When I say we, I'm talking about my husband and I. It pushed us further forward, right? So now I was starting to look at that event from a higher perspective of, oh, I took that on to help us get to where we needed to be. That was an event that happened that was really hard to get through, but it was really good because we moved so much further down the road of where we needed to be. And so now I started to see it more, instead of blame, it was starting to become a courageous thing that I did and that I sacrificed in order to get us there. So that was working through. So I was still journaling this out to make sure it was cleared out of my psyche. So I was writing down that I forgive myself for all this. But then I found myself thinking about my son, right? And how, over 13 years ago, he struggled with a drug addiction that led to some jail time. And so I began writing, I forgive myself for blaming myself for this experience. And all of a sudden it came through that I was carrying shame and guilt that I hadn't realized. I started to forgive myself. In my journal, I was saying I forgive myself for not seeing this coming, because as mom, I should have seen it coming. I should have known. I should have been able to see the signs, and I didn't see anything. And so I started to write this out, and it was extremely powerful. That awareness of having to forgive myself for the blame that I put on myself for his experience. And I wrote, I forgive myself for all this trauma he had to experience. And I found myself crying, like sobbing, just sobbing deep sobs. And it was like retching this like shame and blame and guilt out of my body. I have never cried like that before. It was like this. Bleh. So it was tough. But I realized I have been holding on to that for over 13 years, and I didn't even know it. See, he had come out of the situation stronger and healthier and a beautiful man, and I had come out of it with my beautiful style of painting. So there were so many blessings that came out of that negative situation, but I hadn't forgiven myself for it yet. And as I finished crying, I felt the urge to pick up my pen again. And when I did, inspiration came flowing through. And I realized that I was not to blame. Our children have their own path to walk. It's not our fault for their path. In fact, what came through for me was that my husband and I, were the lighthouse that guided him home. We were the ones that helped him find the strength to come back onto his path and move forward past that horrible experience that he had. We were the light that helped him grow and rise above that terrible experience. This felt like a weight being lifted off my shoulders. I felt like I was lighter. I didn't realize physically how much I was holding in. And I actually that week lost 2 pounds, kept it off, it's gone, because that's part of it. When we hold on to that heavy guilt and shame and blame, we hold it in our body. So that week, my painting workshops filled up. The world around me responded to the forgiveness that I was giving myself. And what is even more beautiful was that I learned to love myself a little bit more that day. And that's huge. That's huge. Because when we love ourselves fully, we give ourselves permission, right? I'm sharing this to help you see that if you're holding yourself in lack, there's forgiveness to be made. It's an inside job. Abundance is an inside job. We got to clear out all that debris that's holding us back from shining brightly, from living our life to the fullest. And then when we get there, we give ourselves permission. We give ourselves permission to be clear on what we really want. We give ourselves permission to be worthy to receive. And you can give yourself permission to allow that, that passionate impulse that guide you towards opportunities that you most want to experience. You get permission to keep growing on your journey. You get permission to rise and shine brighter. And it's so incredibly powerful when we start to forgive ourselves for things that we need to clear out. See, forgiveness is softness. Forgiveness is holding yourself gently and releasing yourself from guilt and shame and blame, right? And what Gabby says, when we identify the fear of what we're sitting in, that fear, that lack mentality, when we identify that, then the moment that we identify that fear and the moment that we forgive it, that thought, we forgive that thought, is the moment that you disassociate from the idea that you are the thought. That's Gabby, right? A Course in Miracles says, I am a body, I am free. I'm sorry, I am not a body, I am free, not a body. So releasing from the physical world around us and starting to see yourself more as a spiritual energy being will give you so much more power and so much more clarity and get you into the flow of abundance, right? You have to untether yourself. You have to release all of that crap that's been holding you back from the past. So, I have something to share with you. This has been asked for so long from people. And so I'm going to invite you to go further with me. If this resonated with you and you thought, okay, maybe I got some stuff to do, I've got a fun way of doing it, right? I want to invite you to go further, to clear up that debris that's interfering with your manifesting, with your joy, with your abundance, with your moving forward in life. It is time to do this. It is so important. It is so important for our children. It is so important for the loved ones around us that we start to clear this stuff out, because as you become more soul-centered, as you awaken to that alignment, that recognizing that we're more than just physical beings here, that we are spiritual beings, and that there is a power running through us. It's like a background program running through us. As we become more awakened to that, then we also awaken the darkness that's been tethering you down. So your body wants to release these patterns that are locked in physically. And it is so important that we start to do the work to clear it out, because when we clear it out for us, we're clearing it out for our children, we're clearing it out for our ancestors and our grandchildren. It is imperative. This is what the world needs. This is how you help the world. And I'm going to take you on a creative journey to do that. So it's going to be so much fun. You're going to shake off all those old beliefs, right? So I have created an online painting workshop. It's called Clearing Debris Through Forgiveness, Painting Your Wings to a New Life, and I'm super excited to share it with you. So it starts January 5th. It is 6 weeks. We are going to be working through this course from May Cause Miracles, this 40-day course, but we are going to be painting our way through it. So each week we're going to be painting and learning and shifting and growing. You're going to get so much out of this, I'm telling you. I'm getting ahead of myself. So what we want is that powerful creative flow coming through us. Very similar to journaling. When you get into that stream of consciousness writing, more comes through. When you open and you start painting and playing with paint, more comes through for you. You start to create shifts in your life that sometimes are subtle, but as they add up, create great leaps forward for you, clearing away stuff that you are so done with. So this is a 6-week course, and I'm going to put the link in this group in a few minutes, but the universe is ready to give you all you want. And when it doesn't show up fully, it's a sure sign we're blocking this beautiful grace. So you can see, when I put the link in, you'll be able to see on the sales page all the stuff that's going on. But I have a special offer for you, so don't jump away yet. So over the 6 weeks, we're going to clear the debris. We're going to commit to the practice For 40 days, that's going to help you make some radical changes in your body and subtle shifts. Shifting your perception will transform your life in awe-inspiring ways you may never have thought possible before. Spending time in your creative flow, right? Each week, there's a different focus that will help you achieve more miraculous results in every area of your life, because the canvas is the soul of your life. So each week, we're going to be infusing our intentions and shifts of perception into our canvas. At the end of the 6 weeks, you are going to have your own beautiful painting of your wings. It's going to be very similar to this one, but it's on one big canvas, 2 wings, beautiful wings, and I am going to walk you through it week by week in painting tutorials. We're going to have videos, chats, live video coaching and chats, questions and answers in our group each week to kick off the weeks that we'll be working through in May Cause Miracles. I'm going to give you meditations, give you other journal prompts as needed. You're going to get affirmations, painting tutorials. You're going to get special opportunities for further coaching if you want at the end. So you're going to get a whole pile of things. The biggest thing is if you commit to this, you will have shifts in your life that are priceless, that will move you forward, clear out all those old heavy patterns. And I'm excited to go through this again with you because I had so many shifts. So each week is different, and I'll tell you a little bit of how it breaks down. So week 1 is about becoming miracle minded. And we will start off with a live video call and talk about what's coming for that week. We'll be working through witnessing our fears, be willing to change and shifting our perceptions and opening to gratitude and miracles. But we're going to be painting through it too. So we will begin our painting on the first week, which is super exciting. Second week is a new self-perception, right? So I'm going to share some stories and testimonials from other people that have worked through this. This week is all about self-love and helping you strengthen your relationship with yourself. And you will become willing to release old patterns and self-attack. Again, the second painting week, we are going to get really into our painting, playing with paint, having fun, just putting our love for ourselves into our painting, infusing that energy. Week 3 is body image. I have lots to share on this one because I got stuck on this one for 3.5 weeks, right? So lots of shifts happened for me during that week. So we're going to be looking at how body issues may be coming up around food, around weight, around just feeling feminine and beautiful or not, right? And so we're going to be talking about that. And again, another painting tutorial. So we are painting on the same canvas each week. We are adding layers. We are infusing our shifts of perception into each layer through the week. Week 4 is relationships. So this could be intimate relationships, or it could be relationships with friends or sisters or mothers or mother-in-laws, whatever. But we're going to be working on that, and you'll gain so many powerful tools from A Course in Miracles that will lead you to experience like immediate internal shifts around your relationships and romance, whether you're single or attached. At this point in week 4, we will be creating the form of our wings. Our wings are going to start to emerge at this point because we've done so much work in the 4 weeks. And so we're really going to get creative in that painting. Week 5 is raise your self-worth, raise your net worth. So week 5 is your working on the abundance, right? So this week, we're going to realize how fear has blocked our financial abundance. Very similar to what we've done here today, but even bigger, in a bigger way. And we go deeper. So it's going to help you face some of those fears that you have that are holding you back and all the limiting beliefs around it. We continue to bring our wings from shadowy images to clear form in this week. So I'm going to walk you through that painting. So the painting tutorials are all going to be video tutorials that are recorded so that you can watch them at your own time. And week 6 is called Working Miracles. So this is the last week, and this is when you truly step into the miracle-minded mindset that you have shifted so much through the 6 weeks. Your heart is open. You know how to focus your thoughts and energy into a loving alignment so that your heart is open and your purpose shines through. So you really get clear on who you are and where you're going. And this is our final painting tutorial week of our beautiful wings that will just sparkle and vibrate miracles out into your space. So you will never forget. So this is a very powerful 6 weeks, and you need to be committed. And if you're committed, you will have amazing shifts. So part of this course is I will be sending you a copy of May Cause Miracles so that you have your own copy to work through. So that is part of it. Let me see. You will. Okay, so here's how it goes. The price of this course is $333, and I have used. There's a reason I picked these numbers, because I am using Kyle Gray's angel numbers for us. So the price of this being $333 is you are powerfully aligned with Jesus and other ascended masters at this time. You are at a crucial point on your journey where you can go beyond all previous setbacks. So that is the price. But I have a deal for you. So I know it's coming to Christmas and it is hard to come up with extra money. So here's what I'm going to do. Today through till Monday, $111 off. 111, important numbers. So $222. And if you want to break it up to a 2-pay or 3-pay, a 3-pay, okay, so first let me tell you what 222 is. You have the ability to lift up the hearts of all those around you like an angel on the earth. You were born to shine. You were born to shine. Stop hanging onto these patterns. We need to get rid of them now. We all do. And I am still clearing, and that's why I'm excited to work through this with you and to paint with you, because I am so ready for more shifts. I just want to fly. And that's what we'll do when we paint our wings. So that's 222. Now, if you want to do a 3-pay plan, that's only $79. Okay, $79, 6 weeks, amazing shifts, painting tutorials, meditations, affirmations, all sorts of reminders. $79, right? Okay, I'm turning into a salesperson here. I'm nearly not. So $79 in Kyle Gray's angel numbers. Your higher self has information that can support you. Call up the teacher you have within. It is time, people, right? So $222 from now until Monday. And I will put the link in here. The other thing is the first 10 people will also get a copy of my book. Hope I got that right. In there, I put it in the bottom. We'll also get a copy of my book sent to them for the first 10 people. So you get 2 books sent to you for this. Hopefully that link is right. It looks funny, but hopefully it's working. After Monday, the price is changing. So the regular price is $333. So after Monday, I'll find my work here. On Tuesday, the price is going to 244. And again, these numbers are resonating. So maybe 244 will resonate for you. Tuesday, it goes up a little bit more. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, each day going up a little bit more. By next Saturday, it's back up to its regular price of 333. But just a little nudge to get us going. It's really hard to spend time and money on ourselves, but it's really important that you commit. I would love to do this for free for people, but I'm also running a business. And I also know that when I stepped up and committed and I put my money on my commitment, that's when the biggest shifts happened for me. That's when I got even more committed and the universe heard me, right? So when I jumped in and said, I am going to hire this coach, then things really shifted because it was a big commitment, right? So I can't stress that enough, that I know lots of people would love to do things for free. Lots of people online love to do things for free, but they're running businesses too. And there is a piece of that. Anytime I've been given a free course, I actually never really complete it. But every time I've had to pay for a course, I make sure I complete it, and I have had wonderful perspectives, new growth that have come from that. So it's really important that you commit that way. Okay, so we are beginning January 5th, and we will have our own little Facebook group, private group, that we will have our video coaching calls on. We will have all of our videos, painting tutorials will go in there, and all the extra information that you need will be in there. So that's how it's going to go down. So let me know if you have any questions, because they'll all be recorded too. So if you can't join in on that day that week, you can watch it later at your own time. 6 weeks. And actually, there's a bonus 7th week. I'm giving you a bonus 7th week. So, yeah. So it really goes further. So, please message me if you have any questions. I am so excited to paint wings with you. I've never done an online painting workshop, but I'm excited to offer it. I've had so many people from across Canada and even through the States that have said, I really want to come to your workshops, but I can't. Even people just as far away as Calgary that have said they can't make it. Then I'm happy to offer this for everyone so that we can begin painting together. And hopefully this will be the beginning of many more. We don't have to worry about weather. We don't have to worry about being sick. We can just all gather and paint together at our own pace. So I will be putting in a supply list for you. It's not huge, but we will actually work on a big square painting, 24 by 24 at least, maybe a little bigger if you want, but try not to go smaller. But that's what we're going to be working on. So is there any questions at this point? Just put them in the chat and I will watch through the day. If you have questions, I will answer them. And also you can email me at jgallantart@gmail.com. You can click the link and read more about the painting course. And just message me. Oh, there's Jack. Message me if you would like to have the 2 or the 3 pay plan, because it's not on the website, but I will set you up with that. Okay. So thank you guys for being here. And I hope that you got some great ideas to help you stay in the flow of abundance over December and through to the new year, to get you going. And remember, it's all about staying in your flow. We can't control what's going on the outside, but we can work on ways to keep ourselves in alignment with that higher power, with our energy, and find more peace and joy. So, love you guys. Thank you for coming, and I am going to sign off and go grab some lunch. Okay? We'll see you later. Bye.